Hey guys, Rachele here with Amethyst Ascension. If you are new here, welcome. And if you are returning, thank you so much for joining me again. So today I am doing a hashtag, and this one is called Top 10 Curiosity Decks. This was started by the beautiful Candy over at Candy Soul and Soil channel. I will be putting a link down below to her original video on this. And so I had not even heard of a curiosity cabinet before. So I was having a conversation, a little chat with Summer from Astrology, and she had researched it a little bit. And so she was telling me the premise of it a little bit. So then I went and watched Candy's video, and I thought, you know what? I really want to do this. How fun is this? But so from my research, the curiosity cabinet, which is what they called it, in many cases was actually like a room. So a room that had all of these really cool, like, oddities and stuff like that. People that maybe well-to-do people in the, I think it started in the 16th century, it said, and was very popular between the 16th and 17th century. So it's almost like having a museum, what we call now a modern museum, but people that were bored or whatever, it was all the rage, they would have these rooms and or cabinets if you didn't have as much money, but these rooms that had all kinds of like cool and weird and like medical and or like oddities, just like things like that, things to look at. And so, I mean, I could think of that right along with having, like, these same types of people having, like, get togethers, for, like, the elite, because they didn't have social media. They didn't have TV at this time. They didn't have movies. So they needed to find ways to entertain themselves. So, this is also a time when there was, like, or I could see it also during a time of like spiritualist risings where people would get together and have like, like your parlor games or what have you, but also have, for the elite, but also have like seances and mediums, just all kinds of cool stuff. So that's what made me really think about a curiosity cabinet and what I would put in a curiosity cabinet. And it feels really Victorian to me as well. So like Gothic, Victorian, medical, oddities, kind of that kind of feeling. So it was the top 10 curiosity decks. So let me just show you the ones that I thought of out of my own collection. So the Macabre Tarot. I love, first of all, that it even sounds like a damn casket opening. How fun is that? So this deck, I have not even used this deck. I bought it for a certain reason, which you guys will be finding out soon. But this makes me think of a deck. Oh my gosh, look at that. God, this is such a cool deck. Yes. Like oddities, like stuff that you would see in the circus. Like animal parts, weird animal parts. I could think of like, the Loch Ness Monster, and somebody's seen it and discovered like the bones, and somebody took those bones and put them into one of their curiosity cabinets, stuff like that. So like the creepy and I think it kind of turned into that. But it's just like stuff that you wouldn't normally see. So there's like a whole aesthetic that's running through my head of this. But I thought this deck was really cool, and I could see something like that for, gosh, that's so cool. I love this deck. Tell me that's just not excellent. All right. So I could definitely see this particular, sorry. I could definitely see this particular deck in a curiosity cabinet. And this is by Samantha West and Rockpool Publishing. So another one is Madame Endora's Fortune Cards. These are really, really cool. And the book that you can buy separately, I don't have it here with me. I do have the book, but it's somewhere among all my books. I'm not sure where, but it is super cool. It's got all kinds of stuff in the book itself. But I love that it's got all different kinds of like animals, like different types of people, items that were used for certain things, the elements like Harlequin. That just feels like something, yeah. This just feels like something that you would find in one of those rooms. The aesthetic, everything. This deck is so cool, but I really, really love the book the best. Look at that. So there's that. Now the next one that I have is the Trionfi Della Luna. And this is not the illustrated pips. I'm so grateful that I did not get that one. Although that one would probably work really well in this particular tag. But the artwork itself is so different. I'm making sure I'm in the... It's hard to see my screen. The artwork is so different and fantastical and even a little bit grotesque. Weird. I love this deck. I love the artwork. I mean, it's just, look at these. They're definitely oddities. So I could definitely see this deck also in a curiosities cabinet and or room. Or, I mean, could you imagine coming upon a creature like that? Yeah. Yeah. Wow. I mean, I could think of somebody having like mermaid, like carcass or something in a room like that. Or, you know, hybrid creatures, parts left over from certain things. Or, I mean, if you think about it, for me, it made me think of like a witch's apothecary, right? Because she's got all kinds of stuff, or they have all kinds of stuff in their apothecary that they might use. So a curiosities cabinet could be very similar to like that of a witch's apothecary. So, sorry, let me get this off. There we go. So another one are these two. This is the 2-cent, the 2-penny oracle, and this one is the 5-cent tarot. I definitely, because like I said, when I think of these particular aesthetics, I'm definitely thinking of, if I can get this out here, definitely like, did you ever see this series, like Penny Dreadful? I think that was HBO. I can't remember. I think it was HBO. I loved that series. I could think of some of the scenes. I was talking with Courtney earlier, and I was telling her, if you remember the scene where they're in for the seance, and I could imagine when the lights come back on that they're in one of those rooms. it makes me think of like this kind of stuff. Even like plague masks and stuffed animals. What is that called? I can't remember what it's called now. It's like right at the tip of my tongue. That's bothering me. But anyways, you guys know what I mean. Where somebody, gosh, that's really irritating. Where they actually find the animal and they take, like preserve it. Taxidermy. There we go. It just could not come out. So I could think of many like taxidermy items in a curiosities cabinet or curiosities room. Could you imagine going into one of those? That would be so friggin' cool. Seriously. So yeah, I could definitely think of the 5-cent tarot in there, as well as, sorry, oh, I'm just having a day of it, as well as the 2-penny oracle. I mean, if you think of like circus shows and the oddities that they had in circus shows, this makes me think of that, and also apothecary stuff. Which definitely makes me think of a curiosities room. This is exactly the kind of stuff I think of for that. You know, like the bearded woman at the circus, or the 2-headed, or the Siamese twins, stuff like that. Now, let's see. Some other ones that I could think of is the Divine Muses. This particular deck is so cool to me. It has so much depth and, make sure I'm in it, so many different kind of cards, and I've never been one until this deck to really like collage-y stuff. But after I got this deck and that Victorian Gothic almost aesthetic, until I got this deck, I didn't realize how much I actually loved it. And I love this oracle. I love the book. I don't have the book right here either. It's probably, I have like a cart next to me that has all tons of books in my office. Like that. I mean, yes, palmistry. That's another one that makes me think of. Sorry if I'm not in the screen. Definitely a curiosities cabinet for me. Yes, this is like what I'm talking about, like the spiritualist movements and having people that are well-to-do having like seances and stuff like that. Having something like that like right next to, or having those actually in curiosity cabinets. Tell me, oh my gosh, like look at her. She is fantastic. Wow. I just cannot tell you how much I love this deck. Unknown. So I could see that, and paired with, this is another one that I could see, the Relative Tarot by Carrie Paris. Also in a curiosity cabinet or curiosity room. This feels very much like that that age of the Victorian, or just coming out of the Victorian. Some of them are even still heavily within that time period. The coloring of this deck makes me think of that. This type of artwork definitely makes me think of that era. Yeah. I love this deck paired with the Divine Muses. I mean, like, tell me that's not cool. I'm sorry. This is like totally... But you see, they just look so good together. Okay, so another one is this palmistry deck. Learning about palmistry. I always think about palmistry like it is one of those things that was something like when they would do the tarot reading, or have the, like, even tarot games, the divination, the elite parties and stuff, where they would also hire a tarot reader, or I'm sorry, a palmistry reader or palm reader. And I mean, in all the garb and everything, dressed, I don't know. I can just see it in my mind's eye. And I love this deck. I got this deck, gosh, I got it last summer when summer came. We went through and did all this. A little bit before that, actually, I got it when she came to visit. But I can think of, like, that other divination system, another divination system that reveals, like, your future and all that, really being also in a cabinets room. Or, like, you remember on the movie Big, do you remember the Oracle? The, gosh, I can't remember what it was called exactly, but it was like you put a coin in and it tells you, like, your future, and then he ended up becoming big or whatever. Oh, it's like the wish fulfillment. That's what it was. I can definitely see something like that in one of the rooms as well. And I've got 2 more decks. Something like this, which has everything to do with uncovering your past life information. That is something else that is different. It's not your run-of-the-mill, divination system or tarot system or oracle. This is like delving into past life information, and like through, I could see like getting information like through seances, or like this, or through like hypnosis, stuff like that. And so it made me think of a curiosities cabinet. Not so much the art, although the art is really cool on this, but it's more about what this particular deck does. It is like just fascinating. I could see people gathering at one of those elite parties and having somebody else that's also, showing not just past life stuff and future stuff, palm reading, just the whole gambit. It just like all kind of falls into the same category for me. In my mind's eye, that's what I could see. So, yes, this is the Uncover Your Past Lives Oracle by Mandy Peterson. This deck is so friggin' cool. Seriously cool. And then the one last deck that I have here. This is the Prisma Visions Oracle. I believe that's correct. Maybe that's no, it's Cosmovision's Oracle. Is that right? Cosmovisions? Come on. Yeah, Cosmovisions. So this deck is set up with the premise of using it like in between lives. So once you have died, or from your previous incarnation and right before you came into the next incarnation, it's like that in between space. So although this is not like your Victorian, Gothic Victorian artwork, yet again, we have the same kind of theme. It's something different. It's otherworldly. It's an oddity of discovery for people. And another thing that I love about this is that these, particularly not the major ones, they have certain different ones, but like all the trees, they all can make like a panoramic, or lotuses or embers, the different you know, like, although it is an oracle, it is also very much like a tarot when it comes to, it has the different elemental suits. So it creates like a whole panoramic view, like aces through, it's either aces through tens, or I can't remember. I would just say look it up. You'll see what I mean. There's a video that will show how they all span out. And even look at the backs with the eye. It definitely looks like, no, it's like this way. It looks like an oracle or something that you would find in an oddities room or curiosity, you know, cabinet. So there you go, guys. This was such a fun, and you know what? I honestly have probably more decks that would fall into this because I like different things. I have like 90 different oracles, and I think the majority of these were probably oracle decks. Maybe it was pretty even, but I love oracle decks, and they have such different systems that explore different areas that I just could probably do several other decks that would go into this, but I didn't want to make it too incredibly long and add too much to it. So there you go, guys. Candy, thank you so much for starting such a really cool hashtag, and I am sending you love always.